So each sheet can have many tables in it, but it could also have other elements. I mentioned some things before, like for instance charts of course, but also text boxes and shapes, images, other things. So let's go and take a look at those. I'm going to click on the handle here for this default table and get rid of it. So I have a sheet here that's completely blank. Now let's focus on shapes. You can click the shapes button here and you can get different shapes that you could easily add to your sheet. Now there are a lot of different categories here. Before we investigate those, let's look at just a plain shape like a square here. I'll click on that and it just sticks it right there in the middle of the sheet. I can drag it around. I can grab a corner or side and resize it. Under Format Style I've got different styles that I could choose. Basically just different colors. And I can add my own once I've set some things. So let's set some stuff up. So for fills here I'll go and I'll choose a color fill, or I can do a gradient fill or an image fill that'll give it a texture to it. I can drag and drop an image into here to do something else with it. I could set a border, so I can do a line border or a picture frame. And there's different types of picture frames that you could use. I can create a shadow for the entire thing. And there are settings all over the place for the different things here, for shadows and for picture frames and all sorts of stuff. So you could play around and get shapes that do just about anything that you want. And then if you like this particular style, this color and border and all that, you can hit plus and now that is a style. So if I had another shape, say a rounded rectangle like that, I can easily click there and change it to that style as well. It changes the shape to the square, or at least gets rid of the corners, the roundness there, and I can bring those back and it puts that there. Other shapes have other things going on with them. For instance, I can do a star shape and there is a little handle I can drag there and another one I could drag there for the number of points. Now there are other types of shapes as well. You have lines and then arrows and then a connection line and also just a drawing tool. So I can do a line here and then I get this line and I can set its type. I can do a dash line. I can change its color. I can change its size. I can do a line with an arrow. And actually even this line here I could add arrowheads to it. I can also do this connection line here, and what's interesting with this is this connects to other shapes. So I can add a square shape here and a square shape there, and then I can take this connection line and it will snap to that like that. Now when I move these squares around I get these. This will allow me to create things like flowcharts actually. So you can create flowcharts because shapes can have text in them. So I can double click inside of a square and I could type text. There are different types of connection lines. So I can select that one and delete it. And I can insert from here from the menu a line that's straight, curved, or angled. So an angled connection line looks like this and I can drag and drop the ends to these squares now and I get these angles here which are really good for flowcharts and the like. In addition to that you've got a way to draw freehand, which is clicking this tool here, and now I can click and click again and again and again and again and draw whatever I want. And when I'm done I can hit return. I can put my cursor over any of these lines here and a center point appears and I can drag that out to curve it. So you can do lots of different things with that drawing tool. There's also the ability to have all these other shapes beyond basic. So there are objects, animals, nature, food, all these different things, and you can search for it. So for instance if you wanted to put an icon for a book, you can search for book and you can say, oh, this is a great little image here and I can use this and I can change its color and different things about that particular image. So you can choose from this huge library of these monochromatic images under shapes to represent all sorts of things. It makes building infographics really easy. If you wanted to go even further you can combine shapes. So I can select a shape here and let's search for building. And let's say I want to use this simple house here, but I want to also adorn that with something else. So I can do shape and look for a symbol, maybe something like highway symbol like that. I could shrink it down, change its color so I could see it. I could place it on top of this building like that. I can shift select to select both of these. And then I can go to Format, Shapes and Lines, and I can unite the shapes or get the intersection, subtract, or exclude them. So for instance, subtraction is going to pull out that image there. Now this is a single regular shape now that's just unique to my document. And I can color it in and do what I want. So you can combine shapes and do all sorts of things with them to get some really interesting results and create your own little shapes inside of Numbers.